Is she a genius or a hack? Is she a talented girl who expresses herself through the music or a member of Satanists and Illuminati sects? There are so many rumors floating around Billie Eilish, but what is the truth among them? This performer is a real phenomenon of the 21st century. She gained popularity when she was just 14 years old. And when she was 17, she already sold out stadiums and became the youngest artist nominated in all 4 major Grammy categories. What is the secret of Billie Eilish's success? You are on the Biographer channel, and today we will figure it out. I would be grateful if you make the subscription button gray so that you don't miss the release of new videos. Click on the button and let's start. Billie Eilish Pirate Baird O'Connell was born on December 18, 2001 in Los Angeles, USA, in a very creative family. Billie's father, Patrick O'Connell, was an actor. You could see him in the films The West Wing and Supergirl. Her mother, Maggie Baird, in addition to acting, devoted her free time to writing music and creating screenplays. Eilish told in one of her interviews that she spent her entire childhood in a bad neighborhood. Now, it is the elite settled in Highland Park, and in the early 2000s, everything was completely different. That fact caused the first false impression about the singer. Journalists and ignorant people were sure that Billie grew up in an elite society, and therefore was a very spoiled child. For the first time, her closed nature was confused with arrogance. Billie wasn't an only child. The older brother, Phineas, became a role model for the little girl, including the desire to study music at all costs. Phineas wrote songs and performed with his own band, the Slightlys, which simply delighted his younger sister. All the family members became an inspiration and role model for Billie. Her mother wrote songs, her father played the piano and ukulele, and also made wonderful mixtapes. What kind of atmosphere can be in such a family? Only creative. In the Eilish family, some things were as common as having breakfast together or going to church on Sundays. For example, to plunge into writing music, not to sleep at night, pouring your heart and thoughts out in creativity, to wait painfully for inspiration to come. Parents made a rule that the children could engage in creativity at any time of the day or night. After all, often good ideas come at night, but not all parents allow their children to stay up late. I've always liked being busy. If I have nothing to do for a week, it just makes me mad. It is not surprising that one day Patrick and Maggie decided that their children would be homeschooling. Did it affect Billie? Absolutely. But it did it only positively. The singer has repeatedly spoken about how she is grateful to her parents for their understanding and participation, because homeschooling helped her to take education more consciously and seriously. By the way, this fact helps to debunk another myth about Billie, saying that she incites teenagers to bad things, raises protest and depression in their heads with her creativity. Eilish herself had no protest because as a child she enjoyed life, was fond of photography and created video clips, played alternative frisbee and rode horses. Of course, there were difficulties, but the family overcame them with joint efforts. For example, the parents could not pay for their daughter's riding lessons, but she quickly found a way out. She decided to work at the stable, which she did for 2 summers in a row. Billie began to show vocal talent from the age of 2, demonstrating an excellent ear for music and a sense of rhythm. She also tried to write something, and it was not always about birds and flowers. When I was 4, I wrote a song about falling into a black hole. From the age of 8, Eilish sang in a children's choir, and at the age of 11, she began writing and performing her own songs. Billie was inspired by a variety of music. She liked the work of American rapper Tierra Whack, indie band The Strokes, and British rockers Arctic Monkeys. Among Billie's other favorites are the legendary Beatles and Avril Lavigne. Billie's other hobbies include dancing. However, in January of 2016, the girl got hurt, which forever cut short her dancing career. The mother and father believed in their kids like no one else and were sure that something would definitely come out of their passion for music. They had no idea what scale the Billie Eilish mania would one day reach. It all started in 2015 with the song Ocean Eyes, which was written by Finneas. Only once hearing the composition, Billie could not get it out of her head, thinking about how great it would be to perform that song on stage one day. Such an opportunity presented itself quickly. As we've already said, Billie, in addition to music, was a dancer and a song was needed for one of the performances. Without thinking twice, Billie decided to record the same composition of her brother, since it was perfect for dancing. My brother had written Ocean Eyes, and we recorded it based on all the production around contemporary and lyrical dance. I think of most songs that way. If you can't dance to a song, it's not a song. The song made a real splash, having impressed every person. Seeing the reaction of the audience, Finneas and Billie decided to publish the recording on SoundCloud, a platform that previously could not attract attention. What if Ocean Eyes would make them popular? And so, it happened. The number of streams grew rapidly. The creators of the film Everything Everything and the TV series Runaways wanted to use the track in 2016. Two other compositions by Eilish, Fingers Crossed and 6 Feet Under, became soundtracks for episodes of the TV series Pretty Little Liars and Season 7. Matthias Rosenzweig from Vogue magazine would later say, on Billie Eilish's breakthrough track Ocean Eyes, she compares love to falling off a cliff, surrounded by the warlike intensity of napalm skies. It's a profound description for a 14-year-old, and it's led to an enormous amount of interest in her debut song, as well as the singer herself. Like the title suggests, her airy falsetto vocals also conjure up thoughts of the ocean washing over the song's mellow percussion and minimalist synths. The song's maturity paired with a few childish ideals. She sings, for example, that love is no fair, struck a chord with an audience much older than Eilish and racked up a total of more than 2 million streams on Spotify. We should remind you that at that time, Billie was only 13 years old. We were sitting in a Starbucks and Finneas says, "Sister, our song has already been listened to by 1,000 people. We did it." We thought we had reached our goal, but that was just the beginning. However, they didn't stop at Ocean Eyes. The audience finally began to listen to the previously uploaded songs of the singer, which previously did not receive due attention. Billie Eilish had finally started her path to fame. It was time to act. The singer decided to take advantage of the sudden popularity and began to release one track after another. In February of 2017, the single Bellyache was released, which she presented on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Later, a video was shot for the song together with the company Miles and AJ, known for collaboration with Yoshi Flower, Jaden Smith, Max Frost, etc. A month later, the girl recorded the track Bored, which became part of the soundtrack to the Netflix drama series 13 Reasons Why. As you can see, Billie, though indirectly, is involved in the cinema. And if you want to know more about cinema, click on the place the arrow points and go to our second channel, where we tell you the most important things about the film industry in a simple language. There, we tell you all, from the analysis of Marvel films to the truth about how to shoot sex scenes. Click on the pop-up card to understand movies like a pro. And we'll go back to Billie. Then, the equally successful tracks Watch and Copycat was released. In August of 2017, the mini-album Don't Smile at Me was released. Some of the tracks from it were written by Finneas, co-authored with Billie, and some he created himself. The music was recorded at home in her brother's room. The track My Boy was downloaded more than 1 million times. This musical composition is again about unhappy love and broken relationships. The boyfriend lies to the lyrical heroine of the song. She suffers, but unlike the song Ocean Eyes, the girl acts as a leader in their relationship, and she decides what to do with the bad guy. In February of 2018, the girl went on a 3-month tour, Where Is My Mind, and immediately after that, she released several more tracks. At the same time, Billie and Finneas started working on the release of their first studio album. In early of 2019, the singer released the single When I Was Older, which according to Billie was inspired by the 2018 film Roma. 2019 was the first year when absolutely everyone knew about Billie Eilish. The album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? presented in the spring of 2019, took the first place in the ranking of albums by popular artists of the Billboard 200. A week before the release, 800,000 people added it to the list for pre-listening. That was a record for Apple Music. The tracks were still written by Billie and her brother. Eilish became the first singer from the generation of the 2000s who unconditionally topped the authoritative chart. In Britain, Eilish was also recognized as the youngest performer who rose to the top of the national music rating. When We All Fall Asleep World Tour became the singer's third tour and started in 2019. The geography of the trip significantly expanded. Eilish went to Oceania, Europe, North America, gave 66 concerts, and visited about 20 countries. In March of 2019, the song Bad Guy was released, which completely made Billie the world celebrity. The song was the second track of the album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, and was released as the fifth single. Speaking about her main hit, Eilish said that in the song she made fun of people who wanted to seem bad but they are not. At the same time, the singer considers herself to be such a person. The main idea of the song is that people who constantly tell everyone what they are, in fact, are not like that. In general, it seems to me that you will never meet an evil bitch who tells everyone that she is an evil bitch. In the autumn of 2019, the singer was nominated for a Grammy Award in 6 categories, including Album of the Year and Song of the Year. During the same period, the MTV Music Awards recognized the girl as the Best Debutante of the Year, and her song Bad Guy was the best track of 2019. From February to March of 2019, Billie Eilish performed on the European tour One by One Tour, and in the spring and summer, she could be seen at many major music festivals. 2020 was supposed to be marked by the world tour Where Do We Go World Tour. However, the COVID-19 pandemic had other plans for her. On January 14, 2020, it became known that Billie's composition No Time to Die, written together with her brother, would be the title for the 25th part of the James Bond franchise, No Time to Die. So Eilish became the youngest artist to write and perform a song for the film about Agent 007. The track was released on February 13th and became the second song of the franchise to top the UK charts, and the first Bond song performed by a woman. At the 62nd Grammy Awards, Billie won statuettes in 4 main categories at once. On July 30th, 2020, the track My Future and an animated video for it were released. Eilish also won 3 Billboard Music Awards on October 24th, 2020. In the same year, in 2020, Billie Eilish became the youngest celebrity to be included in the Forbes Celebrity 100 list. Her income at that time was $53 million. At the end of 2020, Eilish gave an interview to Vanity Fair and said that she was working on 16 new songs and loves them all. Of course, hinting at a new album. And finally, in 2021, Happier Than Ever was released. It is the second studio album of the singer, released under the labels Dark Room and Interscope. Billie's brother Finneas became the producer of the album. Each of the singles released before the album attracted attention: My Future, Therefore I Am, Your Power, Lost Cause. On June 2, 2021, the premiere of the single and video Lost Cause happened. The video was directed by the singer herself. Billie is used to working in tandem, and therefore, sooner or later, a duet with someone equally as talented as a performer had to happen. The first duet was the song And Burn, recorded in 2017 in a duet with American rapper Vince Staples. This song is considered an alternative version of Eilish's track Watch. Another duet represented Billie's dream come true and was more of an accident than a result of a long, painstaking collaboration. Billie met her idol, Alicia Keys, on the recording of The Late Late Show. The first came to the studio as a guest. The second, in fact, hosted the show, replacing the permanent host. The result of that meeting was a joint performance of the hit Ocean Eyes. Everyone was delighted, both the audience and the singers. In 2020, Billie recorded a duet with a popular Spanish singer, composer, and producer Rosalía. The track, Lo vas a olvidar. The song immediately became the soundtrack of the super popular TV series Euphoria and reached tens of millions of views. The song perfectly matched the mood of the series. Billie and Rosalia seemed to have felt the full depth of the main character's experiences. It was like they had been through the same thing themselves. The track turned out to be slow, deep, melancholic, and even slightly depressive. It literally hypnotizes its listeners.
You put your soul, but it seems like you don't even see me.
By the way, that was the first ever collaboration of Eilish with The Woman. The most important duet of Billie Eilish at the moment can be called a collaboration with Khalid, an American soul singer. Their joint song of 2018, Lovely, reached more than 350 million views on YouTube and became incredibly popular. The main theme of the composition is depression. This is a story about the desire to hide from everyone, to get away from these feelings and emotions. But it is impossible to leave, and here it is again, Welcome Home. The track was written by Billie herself, her brother, and Khalid. All three of them speak enthusiastically about the time when they had the opportunity to work together. Then, Billie Eilish went on to set new records on the musical Olympus. Billie became the youngest artist whose album became the leader in the British charts. By that time, the singer had already had a number of major solo concerts that gathered tens of thousands of fans. What is so phenomenal about Billie's work that can't remain indifferent? Billie is a representative of Generation Z and the so-called New Wave. She mixes different genres, completely different sounds and styles. Billie's texts are a kind of diary in which she is not afraid to talk about the most personal things, call a spade, talk about her problems, fears, and demons. Your most important enemy is yourself, Billie tells her listeners. Most of the singer's tracks are calm, deep, and even personal. It's like talking to yourself in the dark and silence of the night. Teenagers react especially vividly to the themes of death, sadness, loneliness, and some kind of hopelessness. But Billie is sincere with her audience in every word and every note. She speaks so honestly both on her own name and on behalf of her characters that it is impossible not to believe her. I don't even call them fans. I don't like that. They're literally just a part of my life. They're a part of my family. I don't think of them as on a lower level than me. I don't think I'm anything but equal to all of them. So yeah, they're basically all of my siblings. It is impossible not to note the style of Billie Eilish. It is so original and unique. There are no classics, no strictness. There are only a riot of colors, trendy look, and sometimes full unisex. The singer has street style, jackets, oversized hoodies, sports trousers, and sneakers. It's all her trademark. As Billie said about her style, I always dress really insane with a lot of different colors. I always try to be really creative with what I'm wearing. In real life, I dress the same way as on stage. I wear luxury things with super cheap ones. Fashion and style inspire me, and I'm actually learning and making some of my own pieces that I hope one day could be a brand or a collab or something. Who knows? For Billie, clothing is a kind of protection or armor. The possibility to hide a figure and distract attention from it, pay attention to something else, for example to a riot of colors, or in the end, to the inner world of a person. Eilish merch is launched under the brand Blush. There are hats, t-shirts, headbands, and of course hoodies. However, the matter was not limited to Blush alone. In 2019, Billie began to produce jackets, hoodies, t-shirts, and hats with her own logo in tandem with Japanese artist Takashi Murakami and designer Don C. The idea of the logo came after working on an animated video for the song You Should See Me in a Crown. Everything is pretty clear with a career and style, but what about her personal life? This is a well-kept secret. At various times, the singer's boyfriends were considered Khalid, model Shawn Mendes, and blogger Jack Francis. Billie refused to comment on these rumors, despite her frankness with the public. She decided to keep her personal life to herself. However, in 2021, the singer still decided to reveal some personal details in a documentary about her life. As it turned out, she was romantically involved with friend and singer Brandon Adams. Despite the seemingly cute relationship, the girl was not happy. Her boyfriend did not support her in important and difficult moments of her life, did not give her enough love or tenderness and attention. The couple had to break up despite the fact that Billie's feelings didn't turn cold. In the same film, the girl shares her personal feelings. My past boyfriends never made me feel desired. None of them. And it's a big thing in my life that I feel I have never been physically desired by somebody. This sounds especially strange amid a photo shoot for Vogue in 2021, for which Billie chose very feminine looks and was incredibly sexy. In 2018, Eilish decided to tell her most important secret: Tourette's syndrome. The more popular the singer became, the more often the network got footage of her face involuntarily twitching. Rumors spread. Journalists and fans could not understand what was happening to the singer. Is she ill or is she dabbling in illegal substances? The girl says that she is sick with Tourette's syndrome to dispel unnecessary rumors. This disease acts in the form of tics provided by a malfunction of the nervous system. Previously, the moments with tics were carefully cut out of interviews and clips, but it's time to tell the truth. The singer admitted that she did not want to talk about it because she does not consider herself sick and would not want her name to be associated exclusively with the disease. She lives a lifestyle in which there is no place for illness and tries to ensure that her features do not disturb the people around her. This position of do no harm goes against rumors that the performer either belongs to the sects of Satanists or joined the Illuminati. The reason for such strange accusations was the ambiguous music videos of Billie. Indeed, it does not take much time to find strange signs in them. Some images in Eilish's video works leave more questions than answers. The singer herself prefers not to comment on these rumors. Do you think you know everything about Billie Eilish now? Well, you don't. We have some more very interesting facts. Billie admits that her work was greatly influenced by Avril Lavigne, The Beatles, Lana Del Rey, Tyler the Creator, and Drake. Billie wears men's sneakers and loves them so much that the total cost of her shoe collection has already reached $100,000. But women's shoes seem to her miniature and absurd. Billie also admitted that she took drugs despite numerous false accusations on the internet. Billie is a vegan and sticks to a gluten-free diet. Not so long ago, she recorded an appeal together with actor Woody Harrelson, a vegan and eco-activist, where she asked to give up animal products and plastic. Billie eats French fries and ketchup in huge quantities. By the way, Eilish does not like the quality of the latter. The singer has a diving license. She won't be unemployed. Do not worry. As you can see, Billie's songs often become soundtracks. What kind of movie and TV series do you think Billie could record a song for? Write about it in the comments. Somebody may not like the work of Billie Eilish, but it's folly to deny that she is a real phenomenon in the music world. Her deep texts inspired a new generation. Billie dresses as she likes, does what she wants, and doesn't try to keep herself within one genre. It is interesting that quite recently we talked about something similar about another performer. At one time, Marilyn Manson excited his generation with shocking and incredibly deep texts. This guy knows exactly what he wants to convey to his audience. If you click on this video, you will find out the whole truth about this ambiguous person. What is hidden behind all his crazy antics on stage, and what is he really like? Click on the video and watch. That's all we can tell you about this incredibly talented, very unusual, and so young Billie Eilish. She has so much more ahead of her. This has been The Biographer. Like this video and thank you for being with us. See you in the next video.